Hello everyone, this is Joel Davis with youarethebroker.com, helping you to build a highly effective and highly profitable broker business. First and foremost, thank you and congratulations to all of our new licensees. As most of you I'm sure are aware of, we are going through our exclusive launch where my legal team has been able to offer the youarethebroker.com opportunity to their network and a lot of their clients, many of whom come from the franchise industries. And we have some new licensees that have come on who I've never worked with or met before, but I'm definitely excited to hopefully meet them sometime in the future and definitely correspond with them and further teach them this business. So congratulations. And also, I'm sharing this video with you, the people who started with me all these years in the $1 Million transportation community. We are going to be wrapping up our exclusive launch at the end of September. So if you are still interested in getting in at a better price point, now is definitely the time to do that, because again, as of the end of September, we will wrap up our exclusive launch and then go to our public launch, in which case the youarethebroker.com training opportunity will increase in price dramatically to cover a lot of the marketing expenses, because again, we're going to be marketing this to the general public. So I just returned from vacation, and in my absence I received, we receive a lot of emails all the time, but Dan forwarded me a couple of them that are very interesting, and I want to share one with you right now. It's not long, but there's a great deal of value, a great deal of meat on the bones, and I guess the only word that I could really come up with that to summarize the entire situation of this email is just a tragedy. It's a tragedy because it didn't need to be this way. So it reads, "Dear Joel, I purchased your How to Build $1 Million Transportation ebook in 2005. I started my medical transportation business in 2007, Go Med Transit. I grew the business until Logisticare put me out of business. I was fortunate at the time to save it and turn it into a growing taxi business, Lime Taxi. However, rideshare came out in 2014 and put me out of business. I started a food delivery company called Chow Gopher, and Uber Eats came right behind. The business will be shut down today. I am very depressed. I don't know what to do anymore. I relocated to Florida to be with my brother during these hard times. What should I do? Do you have any advice or suggestions of what I can do? Thank you." The reason I share this email is because, again, I can only help but scratch my head because so much of this did not need to happen. Let me go back and dissect some of this because I want you to clearly understand how you avoid some of this stuff. First and foremost, I want you to understand where he talks about, I grew my business until Logisticare put me out of business. Now, I'm speaking to those of you who come from the medical transportation business, who've been with me for all of these years in the $1 Million transportation community. Logisticare, MTM, Access to Care, all these many brokers that emerged out of the absolute catastrophic debacle they called Obamacare. Obamacare was the worst thing that ever happened to NEMT. Brokers just exploded because Obamacare was exponentially increasing the size of Medicaid enrollment, which means the brokers were salivating because that's their target market. So they all boomed and exploded. It's the worst thing that could have happened to the NEMT industry. Regardless, it is absolutely impossible for a broker to put you out of business. You went out of business because you didn't have a very good business model, i.e., you built your business on the sand. You built your business dependent on Medicaid brokers. So here's the best way to explain how it works with the broker. You are serving as a subcontractor for a broker, and you think you have all these clients, and you transport all these clients every day, John Doe, Susie Q, Chris Smith, and on and on and on and on. But they're really not your clients. You really only have one client. In this case, for this guy, it was Logisticare. That was the only client you had. And the minute they pull it, you're out of business. Why? Because Logisticare is your only client, or MTM is your only client. So again, I've tried to reiterate in the strongest of terms as many times as possible. If you're going to pursue the quote-unquote low-hanging fruit, i.e. the Medicaid broker work that anybody can get, understand you're not building a client base. All you're doing is aligning yourself with the broker. And the minute they adjust their business model in any capacity, it has direct impact and influence on your business. And in most instances, a negative impact and a negative influence. So it's impossible for a broker to put you out of business because they are not in competition with you. You subcontract to the broker. You went out of business because you aligned yourself with a very vulnerable business model and built your business in conjunction with the brokers. Again, I am not against doing business with brokers. I have a lot of client providers that do make some good profit. Some make a lot of profit because they are very big, cover a large area. But again, you have to have very good deals, very good structure, you have to have experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's not that Logisticare puts you out of business because they're not your competitor. It's just that Logisticare may have, and I don't know your circumstances, so they may have lost the contract to MTM or anyone else or Southeast Trans, whatever, regardless. Anytime a broker makes an adjustment in their business model, because they're in business to make money, bar none. So don't ever confuse it. They're not in business voluntarily here. Trust me. So anytime they make an adjustment in their business model, it is going to have direct impact on your business. So let's see. I got my list here just to make sure I don't miss anything, because again, there's so much meat in the bones with this. Now you mentioned after that you were able to parlay that into a taxi business, which is awesome. Congratulations, because that shows that you were able to adapt to the environment, transition and be flexible to remain profitable, which is great. So I commend you on being able to navigate and then transition your business out of the NEMT to the taxi. But again, now here it is, you got hit by, boom, rideshare. Now listen, I absolutely love the Ubers, the Lyfts, and all the rideshare services out there. I'm going to be honest with you. I love the technology. They are great disruptors. I love how they're disrupting the taxi industries. I'm sorry that it adversely affected your business, but I actually love rideshare. Now, mind you, I've never even personally ever used a rideshare. I've never been in an Uber vehicle. I've never been in a Lyft vehicle. I know 1,000,001 people who have, and 1,000,001 people who have been drivers for those services. I've never done it, never been in one, and I don't care. But I love the fact that they are technology-based and they are great disruptors. And they are definitely disrupting the taxi industry, the NEMT industry, the EMS industry, the delivery industry, the medical services industry. I mean, there's so many different industries that they're penetrating, and they are disrupting. I love the disruption that they're creating. Because they actually are, despite what you might think, creating a lot of new opportunity. So my point to you in talking about the rideshare is that you've mentioned that Logisticare put you out of business, and then the rideshare, and then you mentioned that the Uber came in with the Uber Eats, and that affected your food delivery business. It kind of sounds like you're always playing the game from behind. So I want to kind of pivot a little bit and speak to those of you out there, because probably more than half the people we work with, it's always we work with you when chaos strikes. Now, I have a lot of clients out there that I work with on a regular basis. Some of these people will keep me on retainer so that we can communicate regularly. Because time is money and money is time. And just like you're not going to be transporting people for free all the time, you need to transport paying customers. I need to focus on my paying customers, i.e. I have client providers who literally keep me on retainer every single month. If they have questions, they contact me. They have an issue with a service agreement or contract, they contact me. They want to send me their P&L, they send me their P&L, and I'll give them feedback. And they'll talk about things that they see in the local community. And it's awesome. It's a great opportunity for them and for me. And the reason, what's beautiful about that is that everything you've done sounds like you were always playing from behind. It's great, and I compliment you on purchasing my ebook back in 2005. It's now 13 years later, and I don't recall us ever working together or corresponding. So one thing I'm sure most of you out there who are watching this video know, I am a terrible salesman in the sense of I don't chase people down, and I made it clear to my staff, we are too busy with too much. We do not chase people down. We don't work to try to convince people to buy anything. Hey, If you're not buying what we have to offer, if you don't see the value in it, just keep on moving and we'll keep on moving. Not a problem. But if you are disengaged from me, whether we're not doing one-on-one, if we don't have some type of a retainer agreement where we are in continuous communication, then you're going to drift your way and I'm going to drift my way and we're going to go our separate ways. And again, the reason I say this is because as I read your email, I see nothing but missed opportunity because, again, I'm sure you're a hardworking, well-intentioned person. That's awesome, and I'm not trying to belittle you in any way. But just in reading this short paragraph, this email, it sounds like you're always playing from behind. Had you and I been in constant communication and contact, I shouldn't say constant, but at least periodic, had we always had a working relationship together, there's so many things that you could have done to avoid this catastrophic scenario, both with your NEMT, then with your taxi, and now with your food delivery service. So my heart goes out to you. I feel bad for you in regards to the circumstances, because clearly as I read this, you know, I can sense that you are in a great deal of distress and you're not exactly sure which direction, you know, the next chapter of your life, which direction is it going to take you? And in fact, you say, I'm very depressed. I don't know what to do anymore. And you're with your brother during this hard time. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're surrounded by your family. But again, here's the thing. So many of you out there, if you've thought about enlisting my help, I would encourage you, do it before you hit a catastrophe. Do it before you hit, you know, before the crap hits the fan, that type of deal. I mean, so many people I've worked with, when catastrophe has finally hit, then they'll open up their wallet and they'll invest and they'll retain my services. And as I go through the P&L, then I see how much money they spent for attorneys, how much money they spent for accountants. You need a strong attorney. You need a strong accountant. But here's the deal. I'm going to be honest with you. You need a good attorney, but I promise you, your attorney, he knows nothing about the NEMT business. I promise your attorney, he knows nothing about this broker business. Your accountant, I'm sure he or she is a great accountant. I'm sure they're great with numbers. But I'm going to be honest with you, they don't know the particulars. They don't understand the insides and the outsides and the upsides and the downsides and every angle of the NEMT. I guarantee you they don't. And depending on where you're located, let's say you're in Texas, I guarantee they have no comprehension of NEMT in California or Florida or New York or Michigan or any place in between. So again, it's just my staff and I, all we do honestly is shake our heads, because so many, when people do finally contact us, when crap hits the fan, they do finally contact us. And then and I don't like being in that situation, because then we're always playing from behind and we're always having to play cleanup duty. And I'd like to avoid that as much as possible. But as I read your email, I can only shake my head, because it's all missed opportunity. So, you know, you talk about what should you do next? What's the next thing? Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The best thing I have right now, honestly, is this broker opportunity. And to put things in perspective, look, I had my NEMT business for almost 10 years. We were at our peak, we were doing 1.2 million, okay? We were at 1.2. My broker business, my goal this year was to hit 3. We're going to fall, as of right now, it looks like we're going to fall a little bit short due to some different dynamics within certain markets. But regardless, you know, my NEMT was at 1.2. This broker business is close to 3, a little bit less than 3 this year. And I don't have all the employees. I don't have the rules and the regulations and the state this and the state that and the insurance this and the maintenance that and the fuel that. I don't have any of that stuff, which makes this opportunity that much better. So here's the deal. I know some of you watching, you've expressed interest, and for whatever reason, you haven't taken action, and that's not a problem. This may not be the right business for you. That's fine. But for whatever reason, where you talk about, well, what can I do? I'm assuming, and again, I'm making a gross assumption here, that you are part of my newsletter, because so many people who are now engaging and getting involved with youarethebroker.com have all asked, well, why didn't you tell me about this before? Why didn't you tell me about this before? Why didn't you contact me? Joel, why didn't you contact me? Listen, I work with 1,000,001 people all over the place. And I don't say that to boast. I'm just being realistic. We only have so much time. My team and I, they work great. I love them. I got a great team. Many of you have talked with them, interacted with them. Some of you have met them. But we all have limited time, just like you have limited time, and time is money. So I don't chase people. My staff, we do not chase people. If you've been getting our emails, I got to be honest with you, reach out to us and stay engaged, because if you are not, we're not going to chase you down, bottom line. You got to stay engaged with us. So this youarethebroker.com opportunity, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's just, again, you can compare 1.2 to almost 3. And you tell me which one is better. When it came to my NMT business, I always like to stay a minimum of 25% margin with my broker business. I'm usually fluctuating between, on the low end 28 and the high end in recent years is 31. So I'm fluctuating between 28 and 31% margin. So you tell me, where would you rather be? And again, I know there's so many people that continue to sit on the sidelines. They're intimidated. Maybe they're intimidated by the business. Maybe they're just intimidated by the enrollment investment. I'm not sure. But again, the reason I'm not sure is because I'm not chasing people down. All I can do is present you with the opportunity. I'm sure you've all heard the story of the guy who drowned in the flood. Guy's standing on his rooftop, and the fireman rescue team come to get him. He refuses to go, and he says, "Hey, I'm waiting on God to save me." The floods continue to rise, and someone in a boat comes by. "Hey, come on, jump in." "Nope, I'm waiting for God to save me." Waters continue to rise. All of a sudden, a helicopter comes over top, says, "Hey, jump on board." "Nope, I'm waiting for God to come save me." Eventually, the flood overtakes him. He dies, gets to heaven. God says, "What was the problem?" He said, "God, I was waiting on you to come save me." He said, "Look, I sent you the fire rescue. I sent you a guy in a boat. I sent you a helicopter. What's the problem here?" I'm sure I'm butchering that simple story. You get the idea. At the end of the day, all I can do is present people with this opportunity. The old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. I can't make people stay engaged with me. I can't make people retain my services. I can't make people follow my advice. So many people who I have worked with, I teach them a specific way, and down the road they stray from that, and then when catastrophe hits, then they'll contact me. And let me be clear, I'm not trying to say like I'm Mr. Know-It-All and I have all the answers. I'm not trying to say all that, but I gotta be honest with you. I work with so many different people across the country and see things at a macro perspective, and I am exposed to so many just great opportunities that I'm able to leverage to help and benefit other people, that it just leaves me scratching my head of, man, it's just a missed opportunity for so many people. And then when it comes to youarethebroker.com, again, let's just compare the numbers, 1.2 versus 3 in a shorter period of time, in a more flexible business model. So, and going back to this email from this gentleman from Florida, what do you do next? I'm not exactly sure what you do next in terms of where you are with your personal finances, your motivation, your desire. At this point in time, the best thing I can do is encourage you to at least consider the youarethebroker.com opportunity. Hey, if it's something you're interested in, then by all means, go through the enrollment process. Lindsay and Mike and their legal team, they're part of it's part of our agreement, they are the approval process. So they see every applicant that comes through. So get involved and get approved. One thing I will tell you is this, because you mentioned about how you're depressed and everything, and my heart goes out to you, because I'm sure it is traumatic when you've suffered a couple of setbacks, and you've obviously suffered a couple of setbacks, and I'm sure that affects you emotionally. It definitely affects you financially. The one thing I would tell you is this, and I have a hard time trying to articulate the right words and trying to explain this, because it is definitely an acquired skill. Back in the day when I was poor, I had valued every single dollar, and I still value every single dollar, but I have a different perspective on money. When I was starting my business, man, I'd celebrate every little victory we had, and I'd act like a fool and everything, all in good fun, of course. But the difference is that as I've grown and matured, not just as a person, but as an entrepreneur, and made more money, the more I've come to realize that money really, it's of great value, but you have to segregate the emotion from money. Let me put it like this. There's people who love money, and that's a foolish game. That's a foolish strategy, because at the end of the day, money will never love you back. Let me put it like this. If you take $1,000 cash and you put it on the table, that's a lot of money. If I'm going to go to the store and buy groceries, that's a lot of money. But you and I both know that's not a lot of money in the whole wide scope of life. If you put $10,000 cash, hey, that's to be impressed. Okay, I could do a little bit more with that. $100,000, ooh, that's gonna open up everyone's eyes. $1 million cash, that's gonna open up a lot of eyes. You know, go $1 million cash, go a couple $1 million cash, man, people are gonna think you're a drug lord. The point is this: that money is gonna sit there for eternity, and you could love it, you could be impressed by it, but it's never gonna be impressed by you. That money is never gonna care about you. You could care about it, but it's never gonna care about you. My point is this: you have to find ways as you grow and mature as a person and as an entrepreneur to completely disassociate yourself emotionally from money. When you do that, you have a stronger degree of clarity when it comes to evaluating and making business decisions and taking advantage of key opportunities. Again, I hope what I'm saying is making some sense to you, because I have a very hard time trying to articulate this. Because my point of reference is when I was young and we had no money, and we were on government assistance when I was a kid, or when I was starting my first business, and hey, you got to watch every dollar. And you know, I've suffered some huge losses, but also experienced some great successes. And again, over the years, and working with so many people and seeing so many different scenarios and variations, as well as making more and more money. Again, you get to a point in time where you have to train yourself to disassociate yourself from the emotional aspects of money. And what that will do for you is, where you talked about how you're depressed and you're stressed and you're not sure what to do. When a business goes south, it doesn't matter. When a business succeeds, that's great, but it still doesn't matter. And again, I'm sure I might be confusing some of you, or maybe butchering my intent, because I have a very hard time articulating just how powerful it is when you disassociate yourself emotionally from money. Because you could put $10,000 cash in front of you, $100,000, $1 million, and it's still just paper. It means nothing. It's a one-sided relationship. So if you understand that money and business is actually a one-sided relationship, you've actually just freed yourself emotionally. You've freed yourself. So again, if your business goes south, Logisticare put me out of business. No, they didn't. Logisticare did not put you out of business. You had a faulty business model. You were emotionally attached to it. The ride shares came in. Ride shares put you out of business. No, they didn't. You had a business model that was basically contradicted their level of disruption, and it's affecting you emotionally. And I understand that. Trust me, I can assure you, I understand that, because back in the day, I would have the same type of sentiment and feeling. But anything you can possibly do to get to a point in time where you completely disassociate yourself from the value of money. That doesn't mean you don't appreciate it. It doesn't mean you don't understand the power, the access. See, people have a lot of different motivations for money. I don't need money for power. I need money for access. Access and freedom. I want freedom to spend more time with my family, my kids, come and go as I please, do what I want, support my mother, be with my wife, whatever I want. That's the true value of money. Other than that, what good is the money? I mean, you could use it as kindling, start a fire. You go to the bank, all you see is numbers. You don't even see the cash. You don't even see the green. All you see is numbers. So what exactly is money? When you change your perspective on how you value money, you will be amazed at how your perspective completely shifts and changes to new ideas, possibilities, opportunities, how you will pursue different different opportunities that you find of value, and the freedom and flexibility of no longer being stressed out over money is absolutely, it's critical. It's powerful. So I apologize for being so long-winded as I kind of get into my abstract philosophy and my view of money. But again, back in the day, every single penny mattered. Now I have a lot of money, and I could assure you along the way, the smartest thing I did was learn and train myself, because you have to train yourself. You train yourself to disassociate yourself from money. It's not that you don't value it. It's not that you don't pinch pennies. And again, I always tell people, you make every decision on the margin. You do. You don't be wasteful. You be frugal. Hey, man, I love shopping at Walmart. I love going to Dunkin' Donuts. I could afford to buy my own Dunkin' Donuts franchises if I wanted to. But, I mean, my point is, money is great. And you always be frugal. You always make your decisions on the margin. You don't be wasteful or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you don't become emotionally invested with your money and your business. Money and business provides you with access, freedom, flexibility, and it helps you preserve time. Preserve time. I want to spend time with my wife, my kids, my mother, my family, my friends, business associates. That's what money affords me. I don't need to have the world's greatest house. I don't need to have Lamborghinis. That stuff doesn't interest me. I want accessibility and freedom. So I say all that because, again, only because you talk about how you're depressed, you're not sure. Free your mind. Free your mind when it comes to money. Free your mind. I promise you, it will be one of the most liberating experiences of your life. So. And again, I apologize for being so long-winded. If there's one thing I would encourage you to do is definitely visit us at youarethebroker.com. If you are serious about moving forward, go to youarethebroker.com/form, FORM.html, and enter your information. When you do, my legal team will receive your info, and they'll send you a questionnaire and an email. And an application via email. You can go through, and again, if you see the opportunity in building your own broker business, that's great. If you don't, then just let this opportunity pass you by. And regardless, our paths, I'm sure, will dissect and cross each other once again. And when I do see you, though, I will see you at the top.